Continued review of petition from a county officer or employee to determine whether there is a conflict of interest under Section 2-84 of the Hawaii County Code for his offense to prosecute cases involving a protest site on Hawaii Island. And I think that everyone remembers our discussion.
The question of conflict of interest or appearance of impropriety or what is a prudent thing to do, these questions might be involved with what would a reasonable person think. And that standard depends on people being somehow objective and knowing the objective facts. And it seems to me that what you're saying for the record is that there's no connection, no implication of involvement with TMT and your wife, your son, or your own involvement in Nextech.
Yes.
So I want to just be clear that that's what my point was.
Right, and I want to be clear because one of the things that does happen with Nextech is they went to the Think Fund, which I understand does have some money from TMT, and so part of their support, for the prizes for the camps and stuff like that. That being said, no one, well, I am not paid a penny.
It's my understanding that the TMT has been contributing nearly $1 million a year, if the public reports are correct, for STEM education, students' education on the Big Island. It seems that we're talking, I guess, about building a Chinese firewall.
Chinese wall, right.
A Chinese wall. Between you and the rest of your office. Am I right about that?
That's correct.
So that there would be a way for your office to deal with these cases, but not with you supervising the office. Is that right?
That's correct. And just to let you know, the first set of cases, and those are the ones that most people are dealing with. I think there may be one or two other cases, I'm not sure. Those all went to the Attorney General's, just in abundance of caution. We've decided that if there were any other cases that happened during that time, that we would put that firewall in place, and the Chinese wall, and have my first deputy handle them, and take me out of the equation. And that was done for a couple of reasons, but for several reasons.
So you're at least considering that, and temporarily that's a way to resolve this issue from your perspective.
Right. The legal grounds that we'd have to conflict ourselves, I feel completely 100% safe in handling those cases. But that article, you talked about the appearance. There's also another part, and that's procedural justice.
Yes.
And so we don't only want to think that we're doing things right. We want to do things, I guess the Hawaiian word to say is pono, the right way. And give people that voice that, hey, this is something that's out there, and in an abundance of caution, we're going to be as transparent as possible, because I think that's needed in government.
I mean, so there are two alternatives. One is that you just carry on and supervise the cases, or we build this Chinese wall. And they're supervised by
My first deputy.
Your first deputy. I'll just go on record that I believe that there is no conflict of interest. And to determine that there's an appearance of a conflict of interest involves us invoking this reasonable man standard or something like that, or reasonable person standard.
I'm just wondering if you see any drawbacks from the system that you seem to have worked out where you absent yourself from the process of these cases.
So we're clear, at the current time, most of the cases are being handled by the Attorney General's because we conflicted out of those. But the big drawback, of course, is expensive to fly those people over. And
Right.
so I don't see any drawbacks if my first deputy supervises these people and I'm not in the picture. I would just, hope that the public realizes too that, the fact that I'm willing to come here and put this out there, that I am good to my word, that I don't have any, I wouldn't have any influence on the deputies. Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
This is state land, yet the people seem to be occupying it. And the need to remove them is really a function of this county or the state. I'm not clear. I mean, if I were to go down and pitch a tent at the entrance into Keahole Airport and block the roadway, I would be arrested by the local police department, correct? And prosecuted by the local prosecutor.
Okay, so possibly you could be arrested by DLNR, and the DLNR DoCare officers have been in charge of most of these arrests. However, even though they make the arrests, the charter puts the onus on the county prosecutor to prosecute the laws of the county and the state. So actually, most of the laws that we prosecute are state laws, but most of the times it's by a county officer making arrest. We do a lot of cases, like if someone's at the park over here and they broke the law, generally it's going to be the DoCare officers that will be making the arrests at the state park, and it will be our office that will be prosecuting.
Okay.
I move that the board find no conflict of interest pursuant to the Code of Ethics. And I further move that, based on the testimony received and other factors, that in the interest of prudence and maintaining the public's confidence in the system of government, that Mr. Roth established a wall or barrier within his office, that he will not handle any cases administratively or otherwise with respect to any prosecutions involving the persons that may be at issue here.